indeed February 25th, 2026. And I'm just, I have tried, I'm not going to say that I have been restraining myself from reacting to some of the to this whole to the blowback um to the blowback of these to the Epstein fallout. But it's starting to look like some things. It's starting to resemble some things that have come up in the past. Uh, yeah, the fallout. It looks like we're falling out everywhere. We're falling out of institutions. Probably gonna fall out of a lot of institutions. Before it's all said and done. So, hope you guys are doing well out there. It is about 7:10 in the PM on the Central Standard Time. RCT. RCT, it's been a lifetime. I certainly need to tag you in. You've been on my mind. You've been on my mind. I hope you're well. Yeah, you're on my mind for sure. But I will certainly tag you. I'm not gonna be here on a long time, but I'm telling you, this whole Epstein fallout, it reminds me. It's this is kind of old news. I know. It's a lot. Okay, this whole thing just reminds me of something that happened in another industry several years ago, probably almost 15 years ago. There's been fallouts in education about PDF files and all this kind of a bit in the past. But I just ran into this liner with this guy, Larry Summers, will resign from Harvard over the amid the Epstein fallout. It just seems like all of these institutions have these PDF files. They're there. It's like they're ingrained, or you can't. Every institution has a representative of that faction there. You might say you probably. I mean, I haven't. I don't know. Just shout out to Mars CT. Thank you guys for loving on the like button. For example, have any of you guys? I have not. I would not. I honestly, I don't know if I want to open up that can of worms on a computer system. I don't even know what that. I'm just saying, is it trustworthy to open up these files? I mean, I just because it just seems like we heard about this back in 2019 when nobody was really listening. So that would give us about 2019, 2020. Hi, John Roberts. How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. But just about I think there's probably going to be a representative of every community or institution, whether it be medical, legal, education. There's going to be one of these. You're going to find there's going to be some type of PDF file in every single one of these. The people at the top, the judges, the lawyers, the doctors, the dentist. As a matter of fact, I'm talking about an industry that was pretty close to me. And, like they ended up confiscating, this guy's the computer, confiscating this guy's computer. And a lot of times, they can be philanthropists. They might serve on, even with all of their in academia, you have these personality types they'll be serving on other committees. There'll be presidents, there'll be VPs, there'll be, they will have power in other sections. They'll have power in other places, or they seek the highest positions in many institutions. And education is, it's a hotbed, I would imagine. I would imagine that it is. So when I saw this liner, I was thinking to myself, this reminds me, I remember, okay, let me just, I don't want to put the school's name. Okay, I'll do it. So Vegas, right? Okay. UNLV. This reminds me of a UNLV story. from about 15, 16 years ago, at least somewhere between 13 and 15 years ago, which, you know, there was a guy, he was a high ranking guy, he was a department chair, and, he had all these leadership qualities. And, um, but then lo and behold, he got brought up on these kinds of, his property, his computer was confiscated. It's just not a new thing. It's just, I guess maybe just if they think they're above the law, that it's not going to happen to them. So, but I don't know, this Larry Summers, you know, from the Harvard, what is it, the Crimson, yeah, I don't know, Harvard professorship. I don't know. These people have power, they have influence, and they think they can have anything they want. I'm just, yeah, and they'll do whatever they can to get it, and they'll go to the most vulnerable places. Because whether you think, I'm not going to go with the liberal college or the right wing college on this. I'm just going to say most professors, or it's it's that kind of community. You want, the students are there, and the students want to please, and I'm not saying that in the no pun intended here. They actually want to please their professor. And a lot of times, if you're not going along with that pompous professor, you may not get that grade that you want. You may not get that grade that you want at the end of the year. And it just seems to be, it's almost like it's a fraternal order. Even receiving a higher, an advanced degree, it's like, oh, well, you want that invitation into that community, or you want, and you pretty much have to bend, you might have to go, you might go against, some people might go against their own principles, or some people may not act as their own man or their own woman in situations like this. But this is somebody of power, and that had a connection like Epstein. He says, quote, I have made the difficult decision to retire from my Harvard professorship. Summer said in a statement Wednesday, quote, I will always be grateful to the thousands of students and colleagues I have been privileged to teach and work with since coming to Harvard as a graduate student 50 years ago. So, let's see. Marcy T. Shout out to Marcy T. She says, yeah, they use the grade warfare in university. Yes, you are right. You're absolutely right, Marcy T. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, if you're not connected to the right people, they might not even believe you. Um, it's kind of wild. I think that's why I think the colleges are a hotbed for, dare I say, coercion, or dare I call it academic coercion, or um, the professors using their positions to leverage. That's a position of power. Okay, it is. It's a position of power. These students are paying tons of money, whether you're a legacy or not. You want to be invited. You want that invitation into that academic community, whether you're a graduate student or not. They may convince you to stay on there for your graduate studies. Marcy T says they'll give you a seat. Yes, they will. I say, if you don't do exactly as I say, how I say, when I say, that's exactly what you're going to get. Yeah, but I guess, I don't know. Personally, I'm not going to open up some trove of, or tranche of files on my computer. Because I mean, who knows? It might be buggy. If anybody, this is, big, large files. I don't know. It's just, where do you want to put? Some people talk about how mind blowing these is. I can't even go. My day to day is is pretty mind blowing. So I can't go through. I can't exactly go through. I don't really have any interest of combing through these things and holding it up and looking at it like under the glass of. I'm not doing all of that. It just, the only thing it makes me wonder, what kind of country do we actually live in? Are we living in a disgusting place in which, the people in the ultra power, the elite, they're always going to get away with whatever. And and American people are just going to sit right by and keep, just lay down and take it. And yeah, but then like I said, some of these people some people might discover that these PDF files types, they're some of the most unlike the places you would never imagine that they are. I mean, it could be a dentist, it could be your dentist office. I could go down a rabbit hole on that, but I won't. Nobody needs that right now. Um, so yeah, they might be in your child's educational institution. They may be at they may be your child's dentist. Um, it's like, those computers hold the keys. Uh, those computers hold the keys to, dare I say, to what's really there. I mean, a lot of times that's where they get everything. Um, so yeah, I'm not surprised that but I have no interest in going through these documents one by one, letter by letter. Of course, they list a series of releases from the Department of Justice, the House Oversight Committee, and all of this. But to me, if they're going to go scot free, then why? If all of this doesn't lead to some, I mean, and I'm not even talking about an arrest. I mean, no heads are rolling. They might roll more in Europe than they are going to roll here, because I just think we're just a bit docile and demoralized. Um, I just think we are. I just think some people just care about, uh, you know, their political identities, or they've also hitched their theology to their political party, to their favorite political opponent, not opponent, but they've they've hitched it all to the same institution. I saw this thing. What is it? Mike Huckabee and Tucker Carlson. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm a big fan. I watched this and I watched this." Well, I just stumbled onto it and I listened to that whole. Dare I say, was it a? Can I call it a debate? In which Carlson was going. I know this is a shift. Okay, this is a hinge that I'm doing right now. A big hinge for a second, but um, the way that Carlson was throwing the questions at Huckabee, he pretty much was, like he, I mean, he was showing you there's some holes in the boat, man. And, even if it's for entertainment, even if it just gets a mini rise out of people, I think people think people think that either they don't know the difference between real war and winning. Maybe they think that's winning, but we're not getting anywhere with all of these exposés, because there's no just us going on. There's no justice going on. It's just for the entertainment of people, and it's almost like they're normalizing all of the scandal. So I guess when more comes out, because nothing's actually going to happen, we'll just all just keep on going about our days and our lives, until it happens to what, the common man, which it has already happened to the common man. Um, I'm telling you, let's hang on here. Marcy says, and you can't have a seat in university, in grad school, or bachelor level. I hear you, Marcy. I know it's like the ability to do that is not just it's just not there anymore. So I don't know. I mean, just wondering, like, what in the like somebody brought up a good point. It might have been another content creator. Just said, when have they just gone around just dumping out emails and just say, here's a trove of wicked and vile and devious practices by the elite. When has that happened consistently? When can we say that this happened? Or when can we say what is this likely to happen again? I mean, I'm just saying. But I find it interesting that they keep rolling out, oh, that they released this and they released that. I mean, what is the cover up? Who are they? What is this a cover up? What is it? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. This wasn't originally what I was going to come on about today, but that's out of Politico, and that's on Summers. Larry Summers will resign. So apparently he and his wife visited the place on their, dare I call it, a honeymoon in 2005. So but I don't know, like, I mean, how many liners? I mean, so after you get hear about one of these disgusting, escapades. I mean, how many more do you need to hear about to just think like, what kind of place are we actually in right now? Who can you trust? I mean, who can you trust around your children, around the youth? Who can you trust? Where is the truth? Is it going to be found on some hard drive or whatever kind of drive, M drive, whatever system you use? Is that what you're going to do? Is that how you're going to find out? Marcy says, I put it up there, but I look it down. So I just wanted you guys, I was just thinking that this is my first, the first of my chiming in on, I just think it's just, it's just disgusting. It's just another example of, it's us versus, it's the common man versus them, and that's what it is. So that nothing's off limits to them. But I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys around later. I think it'll probably be better because I have to do the same thing I did this afternoon tomorrow, but at least it'll be done. So I'll probably just come back on Friday and have something for you guys and just kind of do a little bit of a week's rundown. I'm thinking, there's a lot of liners going on, especially with the cartels and all of that. So let me just say a couple of acknowledgments here and I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. John Roberts says, it's biblical for me. God will bring evil before us and destroy it. Thank you so much, John Roberts. And I appreciate you for coming in, as well as Marcy T. It's been a lifetime. It's exhausting out here. I tell you, it's, I don't know. I do think it's a spiritual thing that's going on, and it's very draining day after day it is. Let's see. Marcy says, okay, got you. Well, I'm going to get off of here, guys. I really appreciate you guys so much. Marcy T, thank you guys for loving on the like button. John Roberts. And we'll get back to something a little bit more standard. I haven't touched the State of the Union address. Like I told you, it was filled with folklore and the rhetorical, typical rhetorical plots as usual. It fits the machine. So we'll get back by the weekend for sure. And we'll see what happens then. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your, what is it? It is Wednesday, and I will see you guys later. Thank you, Marcy T and John Roberts. You guys have a great evening, and bye for now.